Hello, everyone. How are you today? Cool? Great? Oh, that's loud, a little loud. Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Roman, hi. And recently I joined to Wrike as team lead of R&D team in front end. Besides that, I'm working on open source projects. And today, I would like to tell you about some of them. But before we start, a little disclaimer. My talk consists of two parts. First part, a little bit boring, but it's important to understand why and how. And the second part will be more technical and more interesting in some ways. So let's start. Part one, as I promised. So the problem, what is the problem? As I mentioned before, my passion is R&D in front end, and in my case, research and development is seeking for new opportunities, new approaches to make something better, mostly for developers, for their experience. And at work, I'm mostly work on making complex systems work better. And in spare time, I'm crafting various open source projects. But these things are connected together because without a problem, we don't need a solution. We need new projects. And from my standpoint, there are two kinds of research and development: focused R&D, when we have a clear, understandable goal, and fuzzy R&D, when we don't know what we're seeking for, but we, for sure, we know that we need to do something to make something better. And let's take a look at focused R&D. For example, we have a task. Our web app is too slow to loading. And there is many points where something may went wrong. So for sure, there's more than one problem point, but we know what we are striving for. It's quite simple. But what about fuzzy R&D? When we talk about fuzzy R&D, we don't know what we are seeking for, but we know that the truth is out there, so we can improve something. But if you look at fuzzy R&D, it looks like that. So we overview our system and try to find what's going wrong. And in general, fuzzy R&D, it's identification of defensive trends and anomalies and their elimination. And what challenges here? As you know, everything grows in complexity over time. So there's many words, but I highlighted most important of them. It's huge, distributed, growing, increasing. I think most of you face it with these problems. And it's became really hard to, or even impossible, to keep everything in good shape. All the time something go wrong. And if we take a look on R&D domain, fuzzy R&D domain, there's many fields where we can find something. For example, it's dependency graph, it's a build, it's a performance, it's a control version systems, and so on. Actually, it's an ocean of data around us as developers, and I can say that the data everywhere. And when we should do with this something, a little reminder again, fuzzy R&D is about identify, eliminate defective trends and anomalies. But how we can solve this problem? If we talk about focused R&D, there are luckily many solutions for common tasks. I mean tools and services. But what about R&D? Yeah, there's many existing fuzzy analysis tools, but they are not adopted to developers' needs. And a little bit about my path to a solution. My background, I work in front-end for a while and crafting many various tools. For example, interactive documentations, some Viz tools, and dashboards for dictionaries and playgrounds. And this approach, making tools, very good approach to gain insights. But on the opposite side, it takes too much effort to create such tools and still cannot satisfy all the needs of users. And if you look at lifecycle of any tool or even any product, we repeat and repeat refactoring to satisfy user needs. So it's an endless story. And typical decision in this case to abandon the idea of cutting your own tools because it's too expensive and our users aren't happy anyway. We, as developers, aren't happy. And the last call for a solution. About a year ago, I get a task to find a way to reduce the cost of splitting monoliths. We have a very huge code base, and we wanted to split it into parts. So we need to estimate costs and make some automatization. So the solution here I saw, we need to know how all the parts of our monoliths is connected. So we get a clue how we can split in the parts. And my hypothesis here was to display the right data in the right way, and this approach will give us an answer to all our questions. And my experience was the same. We collect some data, represent them somehow, then analyze it and get insights, and turn them in actions. But in reality, we have no insights, and once again and again, make refactoring to find something interesting. So no actions, no insights, and actually refactoring. And I caught myself that instead of analysis, I do just refactoring, I write code, but not analysis. But this was not so bad, in fact, because I had all the conditions to see the system because of my background, prototypes, and experience. And I started to rethinking the approach. I see that we need some components to make our life easily. For example, use query language to simplify data transformation, to reduce configuration on views, focus on cursory analysis, and so on. And I took a step back to sort out all of the problems, and then I can start to focus on data analysis. The result is this dashboard. It's a little bit outdated screenshot because I'm currently not working in this company. But what we can see here, it's a list of all files in our repository, some numbers that we can click and go to some subset of data. We see some reports and so on. So it's a very huge dashboard that can explain many things of our monoliths. A month later, I think, could this solution be universal? And when I look at the solution, I see that project-specific part is too small, and we can remove it and reuse for another projects. So I adapted this solution for some personal projects. It's a CSS3 syntax reference. So it looks the same, but it's works with another set of data. So this you can see on the left side property list and some numbers and some reports looks the same. And that's how a project named Discovery burned. So at this point, we finish it with boring part. So we're going forward to more interesting things. What can I say about Discovery? Discovery has several core concepts. It's focused on quick prototyping, cursory analysis, chip altering, all the things that make our fuzzy analysis much cheaper. And it gives our a reason and motivation to do our own tool, because it's too easy to create. And we have a profit with some insights and actions. Just a few examples how discovery works. So this example, it's this report page where we can make some queries for our data. In this case, it's a Headstone DB. It's a table cards game. So we can write a query to select cards with category heroes, make some presentation, add a title, and remove everything that remove any editors. And all you need to make some presentation of your data is data and error page. So you can prototyping quick without any build or usually stuff. Another example, when we work with data, we work with a lot of data actually. Mostly this data in JSON format, but if we see at the ocean of the data in these files, we don't know the structure of various objects. So you can see that with easily you can see a pop-up with type definition of objects that we met in this array. It's like a TypeScript, but it's very simple. But besides that, you can see the structure of your values. So you can get a quick overview of your values and see some dominators and so on. So you don't need to write any queries. You don't need to do many actions. Write actually a code and get some insights about your structure, data structure. And this is about do less, gain more. Another thing that when you get some result, it's very good to share with your colleagues, with another people, and they can open this report also and alter this presentation in the way they need it. So for example, on this slide, we turn presentation to table. So it's easy to share, it's cheap to altering. And this about break users free from limitation of your pre-configured presentation of data. So don't limit your users. And this is just a few examples because we are limited in time. So we go forward. And let's talk about a bit what makes discovery special. As I mentioned before, you may have some analysis tools, but what's the difference here? I think the key difference is that discovery built built on web technologies, and everything happens in browser. So usually your flow looks like that. So you collect your data in JSON format, load on client side, and then have fun with prototyping and analysis. And you can easily share your results with others. So that's all. And no backend or no front-end technologies is needed here. So you can hack discovery in any way you want, and everything can be overridden. You can replace query language, for example, and so on. And all you need to set up discovery for your needs is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and DOM. So it's common technologies for front-end. A bit about practical stuff. So how we can start? For start, we need to run a few commands. So install discovery itself. It's a render engine. Render engine. Also install CLI. So it's a set of command line tools. And run one of them commands, it's discovery, using npx. And after that, you already have a result. You have a discovery without predefined data, predefined data presentation. But you can drop any file in this interface. You also can go to this link and open in your browser right now and play with it. And open report page and start prototyping something or discover your data. You also can build this into several files or even in single file and publish it on GitHub pages, for example, so on any static website. And also there are many related projects. For example, JSON Discovery, it's a browser plugin that's available for Chrome and Firefox that show responses from server in Discovery report page, so you can also inspect it and make some reports. Also, Jora, it's a query language, query engine. Yeah, it sounds a lot, Jora. This language is using to transform data. So you may see on previous slides when we select some cards from our data set. And also you can perform Jora queries in command line using Jora CLI and so on. So many things to come. And if you want to start with working with Discovery, I wrote a quick start tutorial which highlights key concepts of Discovery. So on this screenshot, you can see the result of this tutorial. And another thing is another article, JSON Discovery. It's about Discovery plugin for browsers, where you can see the key features of Discovery, with screenshots and a little annotation. And this section is about things already built on Discovery. I told you about Monolith dashboard that we made in Avito. So it looks like this. It's just a recap. And what impact this tool gave us? It helps exploring the monoliths. It's a very huge code base. So you can see it's 17,000 files in this case. It also used for another internal products, performance dashboard, and use it for impact analysis to reduce test count to run, because we need spend little time for this. Another example is CSS syntax definition. I also showed you before. It's a CSS parser, and this tool have a dictionary of all properties and all syntaxes that was collected from the specs. And what is the impact of this? It's a good reference to exploring CSS syntax itself. Also, CSS3 uses MDN data. It's a package that contains CSS definition synthesis, definition synthesis of CSS. And this tool helped to fix many mistakes in syntaxes in MDN data and fulfill missing things. For example, there are no some syntaxes or properties. And also it helps CSS3 to keep in good shape its definitions. Another example is CSS working group drafts index. So you may know that currently CSS specs are placed on GitHub, so you can grab the sources of CSS specs. So in this case, I parse all the specs and collect some facts of specs in JSON format and make this dashboard. So you can see there are 97 specs and so on. And also it's helped to find some mistakes in specs when we define some syntaxes. And what impact this dashboard already have? It's a really good interactive CSS specification reference. During parsing CSS specs, I found a lot of mistakes, so I made already a dozen pull requests to specs to fix that. In the future, I think about NPM packages that will contain data effects from specs, so it can be used in other tools, like editors, for example, as a reference. And it's also may used with MDA data, may used to sync with MDA data, because today we copy all changes from the spec into MDN data by hands. And another example, my homepage. I think about my homepage for a while, but I thought I have a discovery, so just that I got, sorry. So I can collect all my activities in JSON format. It just show it on my site. Why not? And also now I can quickly answer you which conferences I visit, where I gave talk, and so on. And to make this, I spent about 5 minutes to make a site, and spent about 4 hours to collect the data, because I have now some links and so on. So the most expensive part here is collecting data. And more things to come. So follow Discovery Twitter for announces. And we go to the end of my talk. In conclusion, I want to remind a quote of Albert Einstein: "The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know." And such tools built on discovery that I showed you before help us to understand what's going wrong, what we can improve. It pushes us to collect more and more data in more details. So it's evolution of our understanding how complex system works. And R&D and data analysis can take just a little effort and be fun. So discovery, and with solutions like discovery may appear. So it's just a concept. Maybe somebody do something similar. And discovery constantly evolving, and more cool features to come. And that's just the beginning. So that's all. Thank you for listening. Get new insights. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please welcome here. I think my co-hoster will join us later, but I have the first question. What's the story behind the Discovery? Why is exactly that name?
Exactly the name. Because we didn't know what we find, so we looking around and try to find something. So it's like a discovering our abilities, our what we can do with our complex systems and so on. So it's about discovering space, maybe. So it's I think about that.
And the question from me: how do you think you'll name your next big thing?
I don't know. I guess it's, the discovery is my big thing for several years.
Okay. And next question is, why is your presentation not built on top of Discovery?
Maybe next time, because I'm more comfortable with Keynote. It's more quickly, I can more quickly do a presentation.
Okay.
Why don't you publish a link to your blog
Sorry.
post Why don't you publish a link to a blog post about Discovery.js at Julia Derci?
I will do. I wrote this tutorial just a few days ago, and I have no time to do this. That.
Okay, and here we have a screenshot of release in Discovery, and now it have a version versus 1.0.0 beta 21. When will it have the stable version, or it is the stable version?
I think about this. Actually, it's a proof of concept, but I see that now it can be used for many use cases. So again, a little bit later, maybe next month, it will be stable.
And will it have GitHub documentation?
Yeah, we'll think about this, and somebody who is interested in may help us with that. It will be very appreciated.
Okay, now choose the best question.
Discovery name. What is discovery?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.